Hello everybody, long time no see. It's Terry from the Creative Bush Homestead coming to you from a very cloudy day and a little cool in Gingin, WA. At the moment, I'm just going to walk you through an arbour that I've been working on. We've had the arbour for about 20 years and I have had a lot of grass growing in it. My husband's not a gardener and I didn't actually have the energy at the time over those years to do anything with it. And then things have been a little bit better this year, so I thought in spring I'm going to redo my arbour. So I'm going to turn you around and I'm going to show you the arbour. So coming out of our activity room door, which used to be an activity room for the children but is now a paper craft room and an every craft room for me, this is the arbour that Glenn built that goes all the way down to his workspace. Well, it's a workshop actually. You can see Bear at the end, and here comes our new little puppy, Ruby. Ruby! Here she comes. What she found. Oh, she's been in my plants. How great. I'll have to grab that off her later. So you can see that there's matting on the ground now, and what I've actually done is pulled out as much grass as I can. And we had this matting which was actually the bottom of an artificial lawn at the local bowling club. So I decided that we'd cut it up and we'd put it down here. It's beautiful under this section because the actual vine has grown over many years, but unfortunately in the middle section it got choked with grass which had to be pulled out. And this is a nice little sitting area with a tray so I can put my coffee on. Got some plants. This is actually a bird bath that I've created out of 2 pots for the birds, and in the bottom I normally have water for the goannas. I've actually trying out an orchid here. So this is an orchid that I actually accidentally broke the flower off. So I thought, oh, give it a go in here, you know, because they like their roots exposed. A lot of people don't realise that when they buy a potted orchid, the reason they don't last is because they're air roots and they need their roots exposed. So I'll show you later some that have their roots exposed. This actually I've had for many, many years, and it's an old rusted cage that a candle came out of, and I had this bird that would sing when you move past it. So I thought, oh, looks a bit squashed in there, but I thought I'd put it in there. So it actually attracts the other birds. So I've got some hanging plants in here and some potted ferns, and I'd like to hang more ferns in here. I'm trying to encourage the, it's a snake vine, what we call a snake vine in Australia. It actually does have flowers. It has yellow flowers like this, and when it's in flower it looks absolutely beautiful. I also have some pelargonium, which is like a native geranium growing here, so I'm just letting that grow too. And I actually struck some and planted them, and when they got roots I planted more in. So I can see where that little monkey has taken out 2 of my zebra plants, I think they're called. Look what she's done. Honestly, nothing's safe when you've got a puppy. So luckily I have more of those to plant in, and I might put it up a bit higher. Unfortunately, I still haven't had a lot of the sand removed because I ran out of energy. But I'll just show you. This isn't all of the grass that I pulled out of this area. I will have that, thanks, Ruby. Drop it. Good girl. Drop it. You naughty little monkey. She's just a beautiful little thing. We actually got her to be company for Bear. When we were in Kew, which is a country town where Glenn likes to do a little bit of prospecting, we noticed that Bear was very attracted to a lot of other dogs. So I'm just going to put this back in here. Ah, Sorry for the noise, but she understands that as being, no, you don't touch it. Look at the face. It's so innocent. Anyway, so there was one particular dog, No, that Bear was very attracted to. And he actually knew when she came out from her caravan area, No, and he'd get all excited, and it was almost like he could hear Carl and Bella. Bella was a corgi, an 18-month-old corgi, and he could almost hear when she left the caravan. It was a fair way from us. And of course, he just loved her. Oh, look, she's done it again. That is naughty. No, naughty. What do? You move the pot plant, of course. Just hang on a minute. Okay, so I moved the pot plant. We've just put it on the chair for the moment until she finds something else that she can destroy. I know that she's been in this succulent, but I need to break that down anyway. I know it looks old and rusty, but I actually like that, to be quite honest. I think it's going to rain again. Didn't actually predict rain, but anyway, I've actually got a little bird bath here, and the reason it's got a rock in it is so that the bees don't drown. I try to think of as much as I can. Okay, I will just stop you here and then I'll come back and have a little talk. Oh, I just thought I'd come into my sewing room, which you've all been in before, because at the moment I am making bassinet and cot sheets, well, mini cot sheets for a new grandchild, a new grandson actually. That's coming. There goes Bear behind my cupboards. I had to put the cupboard doors back on, but that's okay because Glenn painted them and I'll mark everything. So these are the cot sheets. I've just got to put elastic in them. And these, well, they were the bassinet sheets. And these are the cot sheets. I've just got to finish off and put elastic in. So I just wanted to show you something. I have this doll pattern, just walking around here. So I had this doll pattern for many years. Now this is obviously a Temu bag, and I'll get to that in a minute. So this doll pattern is called Mimi, and I cut it out, oh, I can't tell you how many years ago, because I was hoping for a granddaughter. And this is all done with cardboard, and that's her head and body, and then they're the legs. Amazing pattern. I'm pretty sure I don't need instructions to be able to do it, and that's just the pattern for the dress and the arm. Now, what I wanted to show you in this bag, and the reason why I'd never done her, was because I could never find, I'm just going to pull this out here. She's looking around. Look, she's looking around for something else to get into. So anyway, I was on Temu, and you know I love Temu if you've watched previous videos, and I found this material. And I thought, I'm going to get that and see what it's like. It will be enough. I actually bought 2 lots. And it is beautiful. It is like a very soft velvet on a stretchy material. I mean, it hasn't got a lot of stretch, but enough stretch for a doll. I don't know if you can see. Well, actually, it's not stretchy at all, even though it looks like it could be, but it's obviously a nylon of some description. But I was so pleased when I got it. I thought, that is what I've been looking for ages. Now, I do have a granddaughter here, and I have made other dolls for her, but I haven't actually made Mimi because, like I said, I never ever found the right material. And thanks to Temu, I have now, so I'm going to give Mimi a go. Hi, I'm back again. So we did that little tour of the arbour, which I'm trying to create into a bit of a secret garden with openings at both ends. It's funny because I was talking to Tiffany, my number 4, and she's the one that's having the little boy. Pretty soon, I should imagine, the way the baby's growing. Oh, gosh, I've got to get my brain in action again. It's been so long since I've done a video. I sort of like have been missing in action because so much has been happening in my life. I'm not a professional videoer by all means, and I did a few videos when I was away, but unfortunately I wasn't using a video editor that was very good, and this particular video editor that I subscribed to won't let me put in pictures like I used to. And then I realised, because my brain is going south in a lot of ways, I'd bought another one and it had run out. That's why I started using the cheaper one. Not a good idea, because that's why I'm stopping and starting in this particular vlog, because until I can afford the more expensive one, it's probably easier to do that way, to do it the way I'm doing it at the moment. I don't know how this is going to turn out, whether it's going to have the black around it or whether it's going to be proper. I can't remember how I used to do it, and that's the problem with my brain, is if I don't do something consistently and often, I lose the ability to remember how I did it. So, yeah. But anyway, let's get back to what I was talking about. So, yeah, so I was busy doing that, and I did out the front too, where I've got all the geraniums. I might finish off with showing you the geraniums if it's not raining. I never used to actually like geraniums. I'm a June girl, so I like my pearls and I always like my roses. But like I said, for many years, I sort of didn't have the ability to look after them, and I had a lot. So I had to find an alternative that would give me some colour in the front and I could cope with. And hence, geraniums filled that void. And I must admit, I'm really, really loving my geraniums now. So I'm just going to have a sip of water. Otherwise, I will start coughing. I think I started telling you, see, this is what happens. I'll start telling you something and then I'll completely go off in another direction. Please forgive me if you can't keep up. So basically, we were talking about Bear and how we ended up getting the puppy. So he really loved this dog, Bella, and he was so friendly with other dogs. We realised, because he had been a rescue dog, I guess you could call him, he was brought up with a cat, so he always had company. And so for a long time before we went to Kew, Bear was basically just a dog that would come out occasionally, walk around the yard and couch sit. Glenn would take him for walks, which was fine. And I said to Glenn, I said, oh, maybe we should look for another dog. I said, you know, we can't be waiting until Bear passes, because by that stage he's 8 now and they normally can live for another 8 years. And I said, you know, I'm 70 next year, Glenn's 75. Add another 8 years or 7 years onto that, you don't want to be getting another dog, because, you know, who do you leave it to? And, you know, I really don't like the idea of a dog. I mean, of course, we could actually this is not annoying me, but I'll tell you about this in a minute. Anyway, so basically we looked on the internet on what's called Gumtree in WA. I think it's all over Australia. And the picture of Ruby, that's what we call her, came up. And I said, Glenn, look at this. She's so cute. She's got lovely markings. And she was a cross between a Jack Russell and a Shih Tzu. Evidently, they're called Jack shoes. Okay. So I rang up about it and I asked the lady where she was. And she said, Gin Gin. And I went, Gin Gin? We're from Gin Gin. And I thought, this is bizarre. The dog's in Gingin. We can come home and buy the dog and don't have to travel, miles to get it like we normally have to when we buy anything. And anyway, she told me a name, and I said, you're not a masseur, are you? And she goes, yeah. I said, my friend Catherine actually comes to you. And she goes, oh, right, what's your name? I said, Terry. She goes, oh, I know all about you and your crafts and everything like that. And I said, oh, that's amazing. Anyway, she told me that Ruby was born on the 4th of June. And I thought, that's incredible, because my son Ryan's born on the 4th of June. It's not a date I'm going to forget. I have no idea what date Bear was born on. Anyway, so we come back to Perth from our trip and we go to pick up Ruby, and this guy comes out and he goes, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Rowell. And I'm thinking, hello, I sort of don't know you. And he goes, I'm Patrick. I used to be good friends with Tiffany. So Tiffany's the one I'm making the bassinet and the mini crib fitted sheets for. And I went, oh, Patty. And of course then I remembered that, and I thought, wow, this is another coincidence. He's married to Stacey. And to top it all off, when we met Ruby's mother, her name was Bella. And we were just blown away because Bella, look, I'm going tingly just talking about it, because Bella was the name of a very beloved little poodle that we had that passed away pre-COVID, and that's why we ended up getting Bear. So now we have Ruby and Bear, and we do have a lot of adventures with them, and Bear and Ruby just play and get on so well. It's amazing. This dog that, virtually was a couch sitter or would just sit with me all day, now runs around and plays, and yeah, it's gorgeous to see. Just to watch them playing is so delightful. And, Ruby will hopefully be with us for many years, and hopefully we'll be with Ruby for many more years to come. So that was the story of getting Ruby that I sort of forgot to finish. I have been doing crafts. I've, while I was away, you might see behind me, and pardon me while I reach back. While I was away, I did these 2 little crafts. And I have another one here that I did as well, but I'll show you that in a minute. So I thought, when you're traveling, you don't want to carry everything you need in case you want to do something, which would virtually be everything I have that's crochet or knitting. So I thought, I'll go to Kmart and see what kits they have. So I went to Kmart, which is in WA and all over Australia. It's a bit like your Walmart, but not with the food and everything, just, lots of different things. And I found this 2 peas in a pod crochet. Isn't it so cute? So I crocheted that while I was away. And then that was a kit from Kmart. I think I picked it up on special for $3. So it gave me something to do. It was in the kit, had everything I needed, and the crochet hooks were really quite good actually. So I enjoyed doing that. Then there was another kit that had this bee, and I haven't actually put a face on him. I've just put his eyes in. I don't know if I want to put a face on him. And it actually came with the flower, but I didn't get a chance to do the flower. I sort of did the bee and thought, oh, that's it. That's enough. So I did the bee minus the flower, and I did the 2 peas in a pod. And these were kits that you get from Kmart. And I'm a great advocate of kits, especially when you're in a caravan and travelling, because they're flat, they come with everything they need in them, and you just pull it out and you do the kit, and you've got your little thing to stuff away somewhere in the caravan, and you don't have all the other things that you take, because I lose interest in things so quickly if they're too big. And that's not good when you're travelling, because you just take too much. Then I came home and went to Temu and thought I'd have a little look at their kits, because with kits comes patterns. So if you're a crocheter, the thing with patterns and crocheting is the size can be any size depending on the size of the hook and the matching yarn to go with it. So if I want to make the bee bigger, all I have to do is up the size of the hook and up the size of the yarn. So I can virtually, depending on the yarn and the size of the hook, make it any size I like, or make it smaller. Same with the peas in the pod. So you've got the pattern. It's just a matter of doing the different yarn and hook size. So as I said, went on Temu, thought I'll get one of their kits and see what it's like. So this kit, I think, was about $5 or something, and I thought that's quite reasonable. It's different to anything I've ever done before. It'll challenge my brain a bit. So look at this. Dino the dinosaur. Isn't that cute? Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you're new to amigurumi, I think a kit is a good way to go, because you can just see his little nostrils there. And this was a bit more challenging for me because I'd never ever done, you know, anything with ruffles on it, the extra for the stomach. So it did have a few things that I had to really think about, which is good for my brain. So, yeah, I was really, really pleased with that. So, you know, grab a kit from Temu, or if you're in Australia, grab a kit from Kmart and give it a go. I mean, it's well worth it. The achievement of even anything this small is so satisfying. And when I'm not in the mood for doing anything that takes a lot, excuse me, bending over here out of camera shot. Oops, knocking everything over. And I just want to do something mindless, I just grab a crochet hook. This is actually just whatever I could find that's fine enough. It's more like a fingering weight yarn. And I've just been crocheting like a Afghan. Some of it's actually even wool I've spun. So perfect for that. And these, I've got all the balls of wool just in plastic bags so that I've separated them and don't have them tangling. I mean, we'll get to the stage. This wool that I spun, many years ago, I made a beautiful cowl for my daughter Alyssa out of it. It's actually Siri alpaca. It's the softest alpaca you could ever get. And I even made my own little labels, called it Just Spinning a Yarn. And yeah, look, even put a spinning wheel with some sheep on it. It just helps me keep my cakes together. So, you know, sometimes I have to think outside the box. Let's face it, I'm thinking outside the box all the time, but this is so soft. It's so beautiful. And whatever size this gets to, because I have a little story to tell. Okay, so we had our house valued because, as you probably know, if you live in Australia, and probably other countries as well, though I doubt this will go any further, the house prices are absolutely over the top. Absolutely over the top. I mean, escalated so much. So Glenn being Glenn, he decided that he wanted to get the house valued. Because remember, we live in a very large home that he built. Wasn't supposed to, but he built it anyway because we couldn't get builders to come north at the time. And we have 5 acres, mainly bush, because we still like the bush. I grew up in this sort of bush. I grew up in Bassendean Ashfield, so the Banksia trees and the grass trees. I've got to remember what's politically correct now. And yeah, so loved the block. We built a workshop, and Glenn was doing panel and paint in the workshop. So hence, you know, it's set up for a business. We live in a rural industrial estate. So, you know, you can do a lot of different businesses in here. And we had the house valued 1.3 million. The last time we had the house valued, which was about, gosh, 10 years ago, 600,000. And we wanted at least that much, and we couldn't get it. So we know that we could sell the property tomorrow if we wanted to, because this is a very rare area now in WA, and a lot of the trucking companies and that are getting pushed further and further north. And we're only 93 kilometres from Perth. And probably, you know, if you had a trucking business, this would be perfect, because the closest shopping centre, reasonably large shopping centre, is only, you know, I think it's about 35 kilometres away. So that's nothing these days for people to commute. The video might be getting a little long. I just noticed we're 16 minutes already. But, you know, it's been a while since I did one, and you don't have to watch. I mean, don't have to listen. I mean, it's a vlog. It's just my life. It's what I like doing. I don't see a lot of people. So for me, this is an outlet. And you know, for those that do watch, I don't have a lot of followers, but that's okay. For those that do watch, obviously some things of this video are interesting to them. So if you've come across me and you've never watched before, you know, and you think you'd want to see more about what's happening with the adventures of Bear and Ruby, or what craft I'm up to, or what's happening in my world, just subscribe. Easy as that, costs nothing. And I don't post regularly like a lot of vloggers do. So if you think that you don't want to miss out on a vlog, just press that notification button and give me a like. If you like what you're listening to, if you like, you know, what I'm presenting and what I'm talking about, give me a like, because, you know, it'd be great at my age. Well, 70 next year. Wow, that's a big number, isn't it? To have as many friends as I can. We all need friends, don't we? So that would be lovely. And give me a comment. Have a chat with me. You know, tell me about your world. So that would be great too. So what I was talking about was, before I segued again, because I segue all over the place, was about selling the house. So basically then Glenn got into the idea that he wants to sell, you know, at our age. Wow, that's a lot of money. That's, you know, we always said our house was our superann. Being a small single business owner, we didn't really have any. And so we didn't actually put it on the market. But Glenn sort of pushed me to make things look like, you know, this room, for instance, I had to move around to make it look like an office. It's a study. So I did. And in fact, I'm quite liking it this way, even though it gives me less floor space. That's not a bad thing. And the reason there's now doors on my cupboards in my sewing room is because he finally put a ceiling in that cupboard, which means that the mice can't get in. And yeah, the cupboard doors went on. So I'm going to have to create some sort of book so that if I'm looking for something, I can just go to the book and say, oh, it's in that cupboard, and they'll all be labelled so that I can find it, hopefully. So, but then after doing, that's another reason why I started the arbour, because it looks so terrible. I thought, if we're going to put the house on the market, that's just not something I want to present. And also cleaned up the area where the gerbras were. And then Glenn's not mentioned it again, because I gave him two choices. I said, well, if you want to sell the house, we're moving closer to Tiffany, which is an area south of Perth. And I said, end of story. I've done it your way all these years. I've moved where you wanted to do. I've left friends behind. So it's two choices. And he said, what are the choices? And I said, well, first choice is we move closer to Tiffany. The second choice is I take my half, you take your half, and I go off and live the rest of my life. And I don't think he liked either choice, actually. So, funnily enough, after looking at a few houses down near Tiffany and deciding, no, they're not for us, those particular ones, he's never mentioned it again. Oh, big sigh of relief, because at the moment I'm still quite happy here. I'm happy on my 5 acres with, you know, all my rooms, you know, empty nest, new craft room, and I just go off and do what I want to do. I've created trolleys now where if I get distracted by one thing, I push that away and put it back in the trolley and pull out another trolley and start something else. I actually saw something very, very interesting on Instagram today, and they were saying, and if you're like me and you have many projects on the go, that is very, very mentally healthy to have a lot of projects on the go, because it stimulates your brain in different areas. And not to keep going on about the point of my age, but I need help with my brain. I really do. Just one little thing. I'm not wearing this because of illness or anything like that. I'm actually wearing it because my hair is at a really bad, awkward stage. And what I'm trying to do is grow it long again. I think I'd like, my hair's quite curly, and I think I'd like a bob about here. I have had one and it's always looked nice, and now that it's grey and I'm not colouring it anymore, I just thought, I will hide it. I'll hide my hair until it's long enough. I'm actually wearing baseball caps a lot too, which is something I never used to do. In fact, I never felt comfortable with anything on my head. It's sort of one of my sensory things that, you know, overwhelms me at times is things on my head, because my hair gets very itchy, and like wearing wool, I can't wear anything with wool because of the sensory of it. And also socks, I have to wear them inside out because I can't stand the joining line at the top, over the top of the toes. So these are just little sensory things I have. So I'm making myself get used to caps and these sort of snoods, I guess you'd call them. Anyway, you know, I've just about run out of things to say, so I'm hoping, I know that's unusual, but we're coming up to nearly 25 minutes. That's a long time for a lot of people to stay interested. So I think I'm going to finish off now until the next time that I see you guys, and I hope you have an enjoyable day, and I hope your weekend, which is coming up soon, is great. And, you know, look after yourselves, be kind to yourselves, love yourselves, because to be quite honest, you know, when you feel these things inside yourself and you acknowledge these things for yourself, it's amazing how it just extends beyond you. So bye for now, and I'll see you on the other side next time. Bye. I'm just going to press the button because I don't have an automatic thing. Bye.